Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Lisa Landsman on the Global Partnerships team, and you are in for a real treat. We have Shrina, who is a product manager on the Google Business Profile team, responsible for verification, which we know is a challenging area for many businesses. Shrina, really appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lisa, for having me.
Of course. Okay, tell us a little bit more about your team and your role specifically.
Absolutely. So, Lisa, as you said, I'm a product manager in Google Business Profile. My team's charter is verification, trust, and support. So, what this means is that it is our responsibility to make it as easy as possible for good merchants to verify while also keeping out bad actors.
This is what we love about you. One, we love that there's humans behind this, right? I think Google's looked at as a big black box. But what I love about you and your team is that you really listen to feedback from our partners, from merchants. I know you're out looking at some of the message boards, really paying attention to some of the challenges folks are having out there and trying to create solutions that'll address it. So we'll talk about some of those today. So, as mentioned, this is a super hot topic with businesses and partners. So, can you talk about the principles or what you're looking for specifically?
Absolutely. So when a merchant tries to onboard to Google Business Profile and when we're verifying them, we look for three things. Number one, your business exists in the exact physical location that you describe, and it matches the title, the category, and the name that you provide to us. So if you say that you're a restaurant in X location, we need to verify and ensure that is the case. Number two is that you are a genuine user. And number three is that you are authorized to represent this business on Google. So you are affiliated with the business.
Thank you. Why is this space so challenging and complex?
It is super challenging and complex because when you think about it, we're optimizing for two competing goals. So, on one hand, we're trying to make it as easy as possible to get as many good merchants on board as we can. And on the other hand, we're trying to make it as hard as possible so that we keep out bad actors. Now, what that means is that when we do something that makes it easy, we run the risk of making it easy for bad actors as well. When we do something that makes it hard to keep fraud and abuse out, we end up introducing friction for our good merchants. And so it's kind of like the seesaw, and we try very hard to find the right point of balance and keep it there. We know that millions of users trust us to provide data that is reliable and credible. So it's a responsibility we have to take extremely seriously.
Yeah, I mean, this is challenging. You think about the fact that there's what hundreds of millions of businesses globally, right? We're a global platform. However many of those are on our platform. This is a really big problem to solve. So we appreciate you guys continuing to dig in and figure out how to properly strike that balance and try and reduce some of that friction. So we know you've made some really great improvements recently. Can you talk a little bit about those and how the process has changed, particularly around video verification?
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, we pay a lot of attention to user feedback. So, for example, last year we learned from our users that it was really hard for them if a video wasn't approved to understand what went wrong and what they should do next time. So, in response, we launched a feature last year to explain to users super clearly what exact requirements were missing so that they're set up for success in their next video where they know what their gaps are and then they can do a better job next time. We are currently building video previews. So before you submit your video, you can actually watch it through and then double check yourself that you've met every requirement. This is so that the whole process is faster for you so that you're not waiting for us to take our time, review it, and then communicate to you the gaps. Um, we also published animated instruction videos in the Help Center last year. So hopefully users have very clear examples of what we're looking for, what works and what doesn't work. And then this year, we're investing in trying to think about how we can make it easier for big brands and multi-location businesses to verify. So I've seen a lot of user feedback around how, especially if you're a chain or a business with multiple storefronts and locations, it's very hard for you to do video verification each time. So we're looking at what we can do to make the whole process smoother for you.
That's amazing. Yeah, there's so many nuances that these businesses are dealing with. So to try and think about all of the different use cases and how to address them all, it's really, really hard. And I think to the point you made, that transparency with why are things not why is the video not going through, what are the things that they need to go and address. That transparency has been huge. We've heard from partners and businesses that they've seen pretty significant improvements in turnaround time and success rates and things like that. So thank you to the humans behind all of this. We've seen a lot of chatter about suspensions and re-verifications incorrectly affecting good merchants. Can you talk about what we're doing there to improve that?
Yeah. So this actually goes back to my initial point around we try to make it easy for good merchants to come back, but we also have to do everything we can to keep out bad actors. So suspensions and re-verifications are tools that we use to keep our platforms extra safe, and to add friction so that we can catch bad actors. However, we're aware that unfortunately this can also sometimes introduce friction for incorrectly flagged good merchants. This is a concern that we are addressing very seriously this year. It is very challenging because we can't make something easy for all and then create risk, right? So we're actively exploring ways to keep our anti-abuse systems the same level of robust, while also reducing the unintentional harm to good merchants.
Yeah, man, these are complex problems. I don't envy you, but we appreciate you more than you could ever know. I know you can't talk specifics, but can you tell us a little bit more about your ambitions and goals for 2025 and beyond?
Absolutely. So again, it's a lot of the same kind of work, but then getting better at it. So again, in 2025, we want to continue making it easier, even easier for good merchants to verify, while also continuing to maintain Google's high bar for trust and making sure we do a great job preventing fraud and abuse on our platforms. We're aware that there are many user concerns around suspensions, re-verifications, and appeals, and so we're looking to reduce these while again maintaining our accuracy with keeping bad actors out. You hear me always talk about both sides of the coin, but that's really why this problem is as challenging as it is, because moving one thing moves 10 other things, and we have to make sure that we're always treading that fine balance. We've also heard concerns on delayed timelines for support cases, as well as users not always being satisfied with support resolutions. So that's something as well that we're looking to prioritize in 2025, trying to streamline and improve our overall end-to-end support experience.
That's really great to hear because I know this is something that's been a buzz lately as well in terms of turnaround times and support, all of these things. But it's great to hear that this is on the roadmap and top of mind for you all. And again, that you're just continuing to listen and know that there's challenges going on. You're aware of them and acknowledging that. So thank you for that. So, do you have advice for businesses on how to successfully pass video verification? I know we have different business types watching this, storefront businesses, service area businesses, a whole bunch of nuanced businesses. So, would love to just hear any advice that you have.
Yeah. So again, to start off with the principles of what we're looking for, the first one is that the business is what you say it is, and it exists where you say it exists on the map. The second one is that you are a genuine user. And the third one is that you are authorized to represent this business on Google. What does that mean for a video, right? If you're a storefront, clearly show us your business name outside on the signboard, your business interiors. If you say a restaurant, we want to see that you are actually a restaurant. Um, and make sure that everything you show us fully matches the information that you give us in the setup process. If you're a service area business, you can show us proof of your real world existence in different ways. So, for example, business cards, branded vehicle, other forms of business signage, billboard advertisements, anything that helps build our confidence that you are who you say you are. The second one is affiliation. So making sure that you are authorized to represent the business. What this means is that we need to make sure you are not just a random customer or passerby that just snuck a video of a business that you don't own. So show us that you have authorized access. Go to a sensitive employee only areas, use a key to open a door. If you're in a restaurant, then enter the kitchen, for example, operate the cash register, really any evidence that you can manage the business and do things that a random customer passerby could not. If you're a service area business, you can show us different examples. So show us an example of you conducting the service, for example, at a client's location, or your business equipment, tools of trade, anything that builds our confidence that you actually manage this business. Um, the last one is location. So show us surroundings of your business, like if your storefront, step outside, and then kind of pan around so we can see visible landmarks, nearby shops, just things that allow us to locate it on a map. Street signs, another good example. What doesn't work so much is unmarked road or open field or a place that we can't quite pinpoint geographically. So give us enough that we know exactly where in the world you're located in. And then the same advice applies to service area businesses. You can take a video from any location within your service area, and then just show us enough visible indicators so that we know where you are on the map.
This is really helpful. Thank you. And thanks for all of your insights and transparency today. It's just nice for people to know there's humans behind all of this. As Shrina mentioned, there are some great videos on the Help Center, one for storefront businesses and one for service area businesses that give you tips and understand how this process works or to go through this process on your own. So hopefully this was helpful for you all. Thank you so much for listening. Shrina, so grateful for the time. And thanks for continuing to fight the good fight on behalf of the good actors that are out there today. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Lisa, for having me. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.